Hey, I'm headed out today to do my 9,300 mile service on my Spyder. It's a little early. I'm like 8,500 or something, but one of the things I'm going to do is check and see if I think I want to get a new tire. The tire, there's the tread wear bar. There's still some distance there, but there's not a lot left. And if I put my tread depth indicator in, it still shows okay, but it's not far from the yellow. It's just barely into the yellow. And technically, I'm going on a week-long trip here in a month. So I don't know. I may see how much it is to go ahead and just put another tire on as well.
Hey, I had to dub over the audio on this. I was playing with my DJI mic. You can see there on the front of my vest, I'm trying to test going full speed with just the DJI mic right there on my vest versus being in a full face helmet. A lot of noise. I had noise reduction turned on, just trying to play with it, but it was too windy and it didn't sound good. So I thought I'd dub over real quick. This is just me catching beautiful morning. I'm headed to the Can-Am location. I'm going to get my 9,300 mile service done. Going to check with them, see what they think on needing a new tire. And as I'll share with you momentarily, I'll go through the detail of what happens on the service so that you can get an idea of what yours might look like whenever you do your 9,300.
I'll go through the service information with you when it's done. We'll hope everything looks all right. There we are. All right, I just picked up my Spyder from its 9,300 mile service. I went ahead and put a new back tire on it because it had about 800 miles left, and I'm going to be doing a lot more than that over the next 30 days. Everything else checked out. They fixed my right rear trunk latch. It wasn't opening and closing hardly at all. They fixed that, and found no other issues. Brakes are good, belt's good. So I am a happy camper. I got out of here for less than $1,000. I'll go through the detail on the invoice when I get back home so you can see what that looks like. And I'm a happy customer. Good deal.
So as you can see here on the summary, it captures that the customer was concerned the right-hand trunk won't always open. They actually didn't charge me for that. They just had to adjust it. I didn't need a new cable or anything like that, which is great. You can see the actual 9,300 mile service was $449.05. And then they actually put a new rear tire on for me, Mountain Balance, and that was $391.99. So the total 9,300 service, including putting a tire on, was $841.04 plus miscellaneous parts and taxes for a total of $904.21. Now let me show you a little bit of detail on what they did in terms of checks on the 9,300 mile service. Okay, here's a description of what they actually checked for the 9,300 mile service. And again, this is on my 2020 Spyder RT Limited. It had about 8,700 miles on it, but I did the check a little bit early. So oil and filter change, look for any fault codes and any software updates. There were none necessary. Check the brake operation, I think, to make sure it's at least 20% left on the brakes. I don't remember what they told me I had left. Inspect the fluid and the condition of the fluid. Check the coolant. Check the reverse, especially the parking brake. I'm sure they checked because they put a new back tire on. But checked the reverse operation. Check the throttle. Check the battery. I keep it on a tender all winter, and so the battery seems to be just fine. Check all the lights and safety stuff. Check all the fasteners. I did have a push pin missing on the right side, and I asked them if they had any extra, and they did throw one on there for me, which was nice. Inspect the belt condition and tension and adjust if necessary. They did not say they needed to do any adjustments to it. I know some folks who know more about the Spyder than I do have talked about wanting to put a better belt tensioner on there than what comes on it, but I didn't do anything or need anything there. Check the tire pressures, top off the coolant, inspect the suspension and the tie rods, inspect the steering, make sure it's tight, and do a test ride. So everything checked out great in terms of the checks and the easy stuff. In terms of actual resolution of anything they found, not a lot that had to be done. Of course, they changed the oil and filter, cleared any codes, but there were none. The brakes were good, added some coolant. The reverse and throttle were good. Everything worked fine. Tires, tire pressure were good, and the belt was good. So the checks on the service itself were just fine. It's kind of like going in and doing an oil change and just checking everything anyway. So all that was good. And in addition to that, all they did is put on a new back tire for me. In terms of the back tire, I did go ahead and put a new back tire on. The tire had about 8,700 miles on it. I could have gone another 800 or 1,000 miles safely, but I'm going to do a trip coming up that's going to put a lot more miles than that on, and I just wanted the peace of mind knowing that it's done and it's new and it's ready to go. Some people criticize the Spyder for needing to change the back tire so much more often than other bikes, like maybe the Harley Trike. I do remember putting a new front tire on my Harley Trike once while I had it. No back tire changes. It kind of makes sense. I mean, on the Spyder, you've got one back tire, and that's the tire that is got all of the power behind it. It's the one that's pushing your bike, so it's going to get the most wear and tear, a lot more than the front tires. So that's why a lot of people say you end up changing your rear tire every 8 to 12,000 miles, depending on the type of riding that you do. Whereas your front tires, you could get as much as 20,000 miles or something like that. So I'm fine with that. All the pluses of the Spyder, the handling, performance, comfort. If that means I've got to change the rear tire a little more often than other bikes I've had, I am totally good with that. So there you have it. 9,300 mile service on my 2020 Spyder RT Limited. No major issues found. They fixed my rear trunk latch at no charge. Put a new tire on for me since I wanted to go ahead and do it a little bit early at 8,700 miles, even though I could have waited maybe another 1,000 miles or so. So that was good. Next major service isn't for quite a while. I just want to keep good oil in it and take care of it. Hopefully you found the 9,300 mile service information helpful. Maybe you haven't hit yours yet. You just kind of wondered what's covered and about what it might cost you. Appreciate you hanging in there, watching the video. Sorry for some bad audio I had to dub over. I'm still playing with this new DJI mic. Anyway, thanks for checking in with me. If you find this helpful, informative in any way, I would love you hitting that like. If you want to see more content like this, I'd love you to subscribe to the channel. Help others find this content as well that have similar interests. Most of all, love to hear your comments. What's been your experience with your dealer, with your services? You find the Can-Am's been pretty solid for you? Have you had any problems? Would love to hear about it. There's a really good Spyder community out there that is checking comments and responding to them, and there's a lot of smart people out there, a lot smarter than me. Anyway, thank you very much. I appreciate you, and hey, ride safe.